DNA tests show that Hitler may have had Jewish and African ancestors.
Okay, now this is a very interesting story, right? Because first, tell us how they came to that conclusion, just roughly.
Well, they came to that conclusion by taking DNA samples from 39 of his relatives. And then they tested those DNA samples, and they found a chromosome that is traced back to both Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jews, and also Moroccans.
Right. So that's, look, the way they do it is they try to find commonalities. So if your 39th cousin has that gene, doesn't mean that Hitler has the gene, but if they all have this similar gene,
then you
and I'm being overly simplistic here, but it's good enough for you to understand, then they go, oh, okay, they had a common ancestor, and that ancestor was an Ashkenazi Jew or came from Morocco or whatever it might be, right? It's pretty interesting. I wouldn't say compelling because I don't know enough about it, but it certainly, makes you think. My issue with this is that now, in the world's greatest irony, they're going to blame the Jews for the Holocaust.
Right, yeah.
Right? Like, as if they didn't suffer enough, now they got to live with this, right?
That's interesting.
You see what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and it ain't right.
Yeah, I told you, they did it to themselves.
Yeah, and you think people won't say that? They will. Are you kidding me? And it'll be, oh, you see that? Of course, it wasn't a white person who did the Holocaust or a Christian. It was a, black Jew.
There's always been these claims that Hitler's grandfather was Jewish or grandmother. I don't remember which one, but those were, I always thought, sort of hypocritical. But apparently, there is some thought that might have been true. The big picture, of course, is that other than being interesting, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, and one, he didn't identify as a Jew, obviously, right? Or an African. If you'd come to Hitler and said, oh, by the way, I think you're part African, you'd have been executed.
Yeah.
So obviously he wasn't happy on that, okay? Or didn't know, he might not have known about it, which is entirely possible. And second of all, this is a small part of his heritage. Overall, he's still, don't worry, white and Christian.
Yeah, it says that he wasn't apparently Aryan. He wasn't pure. Yeah, neither are a ton of the people who they said were Aryan.
Yeah, nobody's pure. What does that mean?
It's pure. Pure.
Yeah.
Casper, read the quote from the professor at Katholieke Universiteit Leuven.
Okay.
That guy definitely uses a serviette.
The Flemish research university, a guy named Ronnie de Korte.
Right.
Well, if you have Flemishness, you probably are going to need the serviette.
Sorry. He's very insightful. He gives a very insightful comment. He says, Hitler would not have been happy.
Yeah. So I like that because I'm like, I don't think that really matters. What would he have done? Shake his fist, pound the table, tremble, yell?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, it was Thursday.
Yeah. That's what he does anyway. 999!
They're like, because I think most people would be like, how's the Fuhrer doing today? He's not happy today. And they're like, yeah, well.
Okay.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Another day at the Reichland.
Yeah,